I'm hearing that the Texas planes and buses that were shipping migrants to various cities have either stopped or slowed. Around the same time, the state has begun arresting the illegal immigrants. Okay, my friends, social breakdown. The federal government declares the international borders are their authority. And I believe that is the case, but they are also obligated under Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution to defend states from invasion. The federal government is facilitating invasion, not doing their duty. So Texas says, we no longer adhere to what you are claiming. Texas is now solely enforcing the law on their border, passing a law saying that they have the authority and jurisdiction on this international border. The federal government sues them saying, no, you don't. Texas deploys armed National Guardsmen to bar federal agents from the border, from the river. And we have the makings of the grains of sand are being added to the heap of secession.
Wow. So
does this escalate to the point where Texas eventually declares independence? It may. All of these small moments when, I always use this analogy. How many grains of sand make a heap? Mm-hmm. What we are watching right now is Texas asserting its own authority over an international border. Texas deploying armed soldiers to bar federal agents from what the federal agents claim is their jurisdiction. If the federal government backs down and gives up, this just shatters confidence in the federal government. Yeah. If they want to, so what does that mean for other states? Next, you get New Mexico, Arizona, other states being like, well, the federal government has no authority anymore. They've given up. Yeah. And they'll start asserting their own authority. Or the federal government shows up in force with guns and says, stand down. And if that happens, we have to ask, will Texas stand down or will Texas say, F you, no?
Right.
And where does that lead?
That's really fascinating.
I feel like we're Americans. It seems like America as a whole is going back to, I don't want to make it seem like it's radical, but kind of its roots and its culture of just keeping the government accountable. And if you won't take care of this nation, we will. Because that's kind of how the founding fathers were. I feel like just Americans as a whole, they're going to start making the founding fathers proud. And that's not saying to start a revolution or anything, or even no promotion of it. But
stand on your rights.
Yeah, they're standing on the rights, and they're telling the government they've taken too much power, give it back to the states.
I mean, this was Abbott's criticism of immigration for a long time now, that there are laws in the books that the federal government could choose to enforce, and they don't. In fact, they have let this become a increasingly burdensome problem for the states to deal with, and then telling states they can't do anything to stop it. And so I think in some ways this rise of, a state governor that is willing to do something is inspirational. I think it's more likely that border states would follow suit. And I actually wonder if it's going to be the states along the northern border they're going to do something.
Well, they should do something too.
Right. They're seeing a wave of immigration as well. I mean, at a certain point, it's a danger
Canadian?
to people.
There's the Canadian border's not doing well
People
either.
will fly to Canada and cross through the northern border.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The other thing too is a lot of what's going on in terms of family separation and just releasing migrant kids and releasing the people who travel with migrant kids, creating essentially a golden ticket for adults who bring kids across the border. It's not a law. It's a judge. It's a Flores settlement that went through in 1987 and then has been consistently challenged and back and forth, where I think it was it was under the Obama administration. There was this Judge Gee or maybe it's G in California, who said that because of the Flores settlement says that you have to release illegal immigrant children without any real delay, that meant that you also have to release the adults that came with them. So it created this golden ticket situation where the Border Patrol, the DHS, is required to release children under this agreement. And if they're releasing children, they have to release the adults too.